Hi, friends.
Brain Candy Podcast, Palindrome, 737 today. Hello.
Sounds like an airplane number. I know that's 757, but...
I'm sure there's various,
probably.
Right?
Maybe. I don't fucking know anything.
I don't know. I'm mad at the airlines. We're not on speaking terms right now.
Oh, because they're just going around canceling trips. Like,
yes, they are.
It's really, like, messed up right now.
Yes.
I don't want to sound like an old person here or something, but it's that darn weather.
I mean, a little bit of it is, but a lot about it is the monopolistic practices of these airlines and the mergers and acquisitions that keep happening in the industry. And so they have no reason to improve.
Who sounds like an old person now?
Exactly. Here's what I want to do. I want to make a deal with the airlines. What do you think? Do you think they will go for this? Okay. If we're like,
Susie's negotiating
with the terrorists. Yeah. We'll stop wearing jammies on the planes.
We'll get dressed up.
Yeah, like the old days. You know, we'll wear like scarves around our neck and like dresses and things.
Yeah.
And we'll keep our shoes on. Stuff like
on
that.
The planes. Like, so we're not...
Yeah. And then
you should not be walking around.
We'll make the seats human size.
Yes, please.
And stop dicking us around.
Yeah, that seems fair.
I do think, because it's a big ask for a lot of people who dress like absolute garbage on airplanes. So
yeah, and I do think that if you make people dress with a dress code, they will act better.
Absolutely, Sarah. We need to do this regardless, but
okay. So I have a question. Or a theory that I had. Speaking of airports. When Eli and I were traveling, we stopped over in Munich, Germany. Very clean. Munich is in Germany, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm making sure because you were quiet for a second, but you were just being nice and listening, and I didn't see like a nod, and then I was like,
I'm sorry.
oh no. Like, did I get this wrong? I'm terrible at geography. It's real bad.
My head went to a Bob Newhart joke where he says he's Irish and German, which means his family are very organized drunks. And I am Irish and German, and so I was thinking about that.
That's a great
yes, it was very clean.
It was very clean. So I go to the bathroom in there, and the inside of the stall, it was very enclosed, like, which I liked.
I do too.
None of those open spaces.
Exactly.
Also, inside was very reflective. It was this green plastic that was acrylic, whatever, but it was so shiny that you could see your reflection. And that awareness of myself made me not cleaner than I would normally be, but it made me think about how if somebody were not a clean person, there's like this.
You become aware of your own.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to see if you think that is a good theory for
I absolutely
if
do.
Yeah, that they did that intentionally.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking that. Eli was like, I don't know, but that would make sense if they did that. And I wonder if there are studies to show the effects of that. And why don't we just do that everywhere?
Sure, it could have been just, a happy
shiny
accident.
Right.
But if anyone were going to try to encourage, fastidious behavior, it is the Germans.
Yeah, and I want to know, does Japan have similar bathrooms? Because if so, that's confirmed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're on to you.
Totally confirmed.
It's working, and I love it.
Yeah, I loved it. I was like, this is for me. Yes.
Yes. And I mean, listen, you can be comfortable on an airplane and like still run a comb through your hair, people. You look horrible. Okay? And they need to know it. I don't know if people think we can't see them. It's disgusting.
Freshen up, would you?
I am getting like, get off my lawn, aren't I? I kind of like it though.
It's fine. I'm fine with that.
What else is new in your world?
What else is new? Oh, this is a little friendly reminder that I had to remind myself about this season. I'll pass along to you lovely folks.
Yeah.
Sometimes you drive along the road and you see beautiful flowers that are wildflowers that are just like everywhere. And it's like, these are just going to die. You could definitely take them. Nobody's going to be mad. First year I was here, I spent the whole season worrying that if I took them, somebody would be mad at me. That is not the case. People do not care. So you can then take the flowers, but here's why you shouldn't do that. Because the reason why you pay a little more for flowers at the store is because they've been treated for the old bugs.
What bugs?
Any bugs that live in plants and flowers.
How do they treat them? First question.
I have no idea. I've never had swarms of pollen or bugs in my house from a good old Trader Joe's bouquet.
You're right, but I never thought about it.
The ones that I have picked on the side of the road last year that then I filled my house with
infestation.
Gave me not only the worst allergies I've ever experienced, but also a bug infestation. Like, not really infestation, but just like more than I'd like. I was like, where'd all these come from?
You had developed a fear of anything that can make a swarm.
Yeah, for sure. It's very disgusting. I'm a little nervous about a camping trip we're going on this weekend because the mosquitoes this season, I've heard, were unseasonably active.
Ew, I hate it. Well, I got confirmation from a brainiac after our discussion on mosquito genocide that I'm rooting for, that they really don't have a use, and the scientists are working on eradicating these guys. Because they're so harmful.
I don't know. That feels like something we shouldn't do that. That's a mistake. That was our book club pick. That was basically our book club.
But I'm telling you that she said
post-apocalyptic, like
it was about mosquitoes?
Died. Well, not really. It was about genetically modifying things and the potential consequences to that. It's called Upgrade, and if you aren't in our book club, you should definitely check out the Candy Clubs because they're very fun. So
all right,
that freaks me out.
She really gave me some validation because she was like, "Yep, they're not good for us at all. They're terrible, and we got to get rid of them." Okay. I say, she seemed like she spoke with authority, like she knew. Okay, wasn't just her siding with me, but she probably would also agree how great Nutrafol is.
Absolutely, I love when I get to be the one to pass this off to all my friends.
Yep.
And then take all the credit when their hair grows.
I know. I have a friend who shared with my sister that she needed it. And I gave her some. And she almost cried. Like her eyes were welling up. And to me, that might sound frivolous to some people, but there is so much shame when you experience hair loss or thinning, and it also feels like there's no hope sometimes. Yeah. And when you get hope, it does make you want to cry. I know the feeling because I've been there. And there's so many reasons why people do lose their hair, different changes in their body and hormones and stuff, and just stress. And so Nutrafol can help you grow your hair and fill in that thinning area, get that scalp coverage, thicker, healthier hair. It's the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement. This isn't just like snake oil or something. Right. And it works. I know because I'm experiencing it.
I've watched Susie's ponytail grow.
It's true.
It really is.
For me, when I'm drying my hair, the 4 to 5 inches that is there because of Nutrafol, it takes forever to dry it, and it's the best problem ever.
That is really good.
Yes. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code BRAINCANDY. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BRAINCANDY. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code BRAINCANDY. Okay, wait, can we go back to the plant thing?
What plant thing?
You know, the swarm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. And like how you pick these wild flowers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm saying, when you see wildflowers on the road, resist the urge. And if you do get them, shake them, or spray them. I don't know.
Before you bring them in. But do you think it's funny how there have been many times over this podcast life where you have tried to justify stealing plants from like your apartment building?
This is true.
Your neighbors' yards, I think. Yeah, I think you maybe even brought scissors to one burglary.
Okay, when you line them all up and you like put the evidence all out in front of me, but no, is this what I've done? I've collected 737 episodes worth of incriminating evidence to now get me caught?
Yes, this is going to be your undoing.
Oh,
it's just so funny because I really think it shows just how much you love flowers and plants, and I can't resist.
I can't. It was like I always tell that story about how I wanted to shoplift one time and took the tag off of a piece of clothing, and it was the tag. It was a Roxy sticker off of it. You know, they used to put the tags on the stickers, and then I walked around the mall with it. I felt so guilty that I went back to the store and threw it on the floor of the store and then left the mall because it's like technically shoplifting if you like give it back. It was a sticker off of a shirt. It was the tag that I took. Usually you leave the tag when you steal the clothing. I did the opposite. Yeah. So like I can't even do that yet. I'm definitely ready to what do they call it? Prop lift, which is like propagate and shoplift.
Prop lift.
Yeah.
Who is calling it this? Are you part of like a gang?
I might be. You know, we should have like hand signals. Like,
but where have you heard that?
On TikTok.
If you have this video, Sarah just did a scissor gang sign. So on TikTok, there's like people that teach you how to.
Well, they don't teach you how. They were saying like it was like, you know those little parts of a succulent that fall off? You can just collect those, and if you treat them real nice, they'll grow.
Yeah.
A whole new cactus.
But why did they call it prop lifting?
Because it's propagating.
Yes. I mean, I get the pun, but it's like, what are you?
Because you're technically, I mean, are you stealing if you're picking up plants, leaves that have fallen off the ground? I would argue no.
I agree,
they're going to sweep them up and throw them in the trash.
That.
Well, I know, because it sounds cute. And it makes us feel like dangerous.
Yeah.
As we're just really growing plants.
A plant gang.
Yeah. What I really want to do is get one of those, hear me out, guns that shoots out little seeds, seed packets of wildflowers, and you can like spray your neighborhood. Yeah. This is like a real thing.
This will like right the wrong of all the ones you've stolen.
Yeah, and you just like boom, 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 and they're like
Johnny
little
Appleseed, like high tech.
Yeah, like confetti almost, like of.
That is
seeds.
Very cool. They've thought of everything.
I know, isn't that fun?
Yes, I love that idea.
I could totally litter seeds. That's the only time I'm okay with litter. Stealing and litter, as long as it's plant related. Okay. See, we all have our line.
Yeah, you're right. Yours is good. I like your moral code. It's solid.
Thank you.
All right. Oh my gosh. Can we just talk for one more thing? One more update. Guess who joined the Pump Club?
Oh, me! Yeah, that's right. And I really do read it every day, and it does kind of make you tear up. And I really do feel like nobody cares about my... I'm going to cry right now. Nobody cares about my health and well-being more than Arnold. What is wrong with me?
Sarah,
we need to fix this fitness of this nation.
Yes, it is the most positive corner of the internet, everybody.
It really is. Look at us. It is. What is happening?
I'm trying to spread the word because...
I'm doing this 15 minutes. I think I'm crushing it. Or
this
like
is
15,
hilarious.
You know.
Well, so one thing that I think is funny is how I talk about being in the Pump Club all the time, but like most people don't get that it's a newsletter. Like I'm not doing anything.
But if you want to, there are workouts and you can download and everything's free and he's so nice.
Yes. And I do the workouts and stuff, but like to be in the Pump Club, it's just a newsletter. But the advice is all science driven and simple to understand and just
I am definitely not eating enough protein.
See? You can burn more fat with the protein.
You need, and he showed the studies, you need 0.8 to 1 gram per pound that you weigh. I know it's a lot.
I know, it's a lot.
But it will help because it's the most metabolized something. I don't remember.
Right. You learn a lot, and then you can tweak your lifestyle, and it does feel empowering. Anyway, it was just funny when Sarah sent me the text. Guess who joined the Pump Club? I'm spreading the word, people.
Yeah,
okay.
It's great.
What do I want to start with? I did think you would be interested to know that you may have seen it, New York Magazine did this really long article about Bessel van der
Kolk? Yeah.
Yeah. Bessel van der Kolk. He is the author of The Body Keeps the Score, which Sarah has talked a lot about on here. And, the study of trauma and its effect on your body and all that. The article was great, though, because it was sort of, analyzing his incredible impact on the psychology world and any trauma-based industry, even childcare and all that.
Yeah.
But he is, as we all are, complicated and multitudes. He is kind of a shitty guy.
Yeah. He got into a fight with someone else at the evolution, not like a physical fight, but there was bad blood between him and this other woman and who was talking about false memories.
Yes.
And this was at the Evolution of Psychotherapy conference. And it was
what side are you on?
Lecture do you go to?
Oh my God, I love it.
That. It was just a bunch of nerds.
Right. Yeah. There's nothing more hilarious than academic feuds.
Right. This was an academic feud.
If you're not familiar, Sarah, can you summarize the thesis of The Body Keeps the Score?
Okay. So, your body, in a way, stores the memory of trauma, things that have happened. And a very easy example is if you are someone who maybe was assaulted by a man wearing Old Spice cologne, and then somebody else has a dad that wore Old Spice cologne and they have loving, fond memories of him. You have two of those, adults in a room together with those different experiences, and somebody comes in wearing Old Spice, and their bodies will physiologically react in different ways based on the trauma that's been stored, the memory of the trauma that's been stored in their body.
Yeah. And traumatic memories behave differently from just regular old memories and have different effect. And I don't know, the article was sort of unpacking the consequences of the book and how it's been really embedded now into popular culture. And, that's always going to mean some people misinterpret it or use it improperly or whatever. Right. And then how cranky the author is about that. Because obviously it's sort of a reckoning where then people are like, hey, but what about this bad effect of your research? And he's like, shut up about it. He's real crabby.
Right.
And he got fired because the head of the trauma organization that he worked for got Me Too'd. And then he got fired for bullying, and they were saying he's causing trauma and they're using therapy speak to justify the firing. So it's his own research almost caused whatever. And they were describing these sort of retreats that he hosts where you can go there for a week and whatever. And it's he has these retreats, but then everyone comes and wants to cry about their trauma. And he's like, look, people, knock it off. You're not getting cured. Like, it's like he's of two minds or something. Well, how do you explain that? Do you think he's just a weirdo or what?
Yeah, I think he's just a quirky academic guy who's very passionate and also is like, I don't want to tell you. This is what we did the studies. These are the results.
Exactly.
Like all studies, it's not 100%, but it's 97%. You good with that? Yeah, me too. Like, it's kind of like that. And the energy was like that from him that I felt. And I think that for a lot of people who have, like, it's so helpful to know those things and to, like, it might not be as helpful to cite the book as it is to actually read the book.
Uh-huh. Okay. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
because
he's saying,
when we read that in class, I remember talking, and I remember the day we talked about that in class, and we thanked the professor and said, this was by far, we read it the last semester of grad school. We said, this is by far the best and most useful text that we have read in the program.
I can see that.
Yeah. It was like, okay, now I understand this, and I know how to help other people understand this.
I mean, he was saying, of course, there are some people that act like the smallest infraction or whatever against them. One time my mailman threw a letter at me, and they'll act like that's their trauma. And he's like, well, that's their problem. They're doing it wrong. And I would have to say he's right. Like, he can't be responsible for dumbasses.
Right.
But
and people confuse made me feel bad with had a trauma response. Like, that's very specific. Like, your brain, if we looked at the brain's the way it responds, it's different. It's like disassociating. It's like shutting down of the hippocampus. All this stuff that does not happen. You don't disassociate when your mailman throws a letter at you. And if you do, you probably need some therapy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I disassociate whenever I run out of my Thrive makeup. I don't know about you. Oh. That's traumatic.
Look, I just got new foundation.
What'd you get?
I got their CC cream.
Yeah,
I just ordered it. And I've been talking about it forever. I just got their sticks.
I do not have that.
Oh, Suze, this is the best thing. I didn't. Okay, we're gonna do like a demo
we're gonna
right
do a
here.
makeup tutorial on the video.
Like, it's super easy because it can make a really straight line. It's like a cream bronzer, and they have like cheek colors and everything, and then it has the little stick on the end. So
I love this. It has a little smudger on the other side,
and it's a really good one too that like blends it really well. And there you go.
Like, I'm mad now because I don't have that.
Suze, this is my favorite thing.
What the heck's that called? What's it say on there?
This is the triple threat color stick, and color I got is Ariana. That's like a bronzer.
That is so awesome.
To the people, and now I have to do the other side.
Just when I think they couldn't get any better.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh my gosh. They have everything. We love every product. The Liquid Lash Extensions mascara, we've been talking about it forever. Oh, yeah. You people have practically all ordered it, I swear, because you keep posting me and tagging me and stuff from them. And I'm so glad that you all are trying it because you are loving it. Yeah. So they have a deal. You got to do it. You have to try Thrive Cosmetics to see for yourself. Right now, you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order when you visit thrivecosmetics.com/braincandy. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/braincandy for 20% off your first order. And doubly why you'll love it is because the reason why it's spelled that way is because they are doing good things. They are helping causes. It's part of their mission. Every purchase supports organizations that help communities thrive, like battling domestic abuse, homelessness, cancer, and more. You got to do good these days, man.
Yeah.
I don't just want makeup. I want a good company.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, look, while I was just yapping, she was
buildable blur,
getting even prettier.
And got the SPF, all that good stuff.
I love it. Okay. Any hoodles. That New York Magazine article was really good and fun to read because I guess it's just another example of how, like, nobody is one thing, like a hero or a villain.
Right. And this is what we talked about with this influencer era and like the social media thing where you have to be these extremes. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, you have to be 100% this, 100% like, no, that's not, there's always some nuance and some gray area and some,
I'll tell you, I was thinking of this very topic recently because we've talked about Louis C.K. on the show before, and I don't really like what happened, of course, and, you know, the scandal. I have to tell you, though, I would argue he is the best stand-up alive today.
He's so good. It's really
and it's like...
I know.
I can't tell you that that's not true just because something happened that I don't love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know that's like an age-old thing, like, can you enjoy the art? Whatever.
Right.
But in his case, it's like, he's excellent.
Yeah.
And every time I see him, I'm like, damn, I'm like...
It's that I mean, really,
so
it's
good.
like people are people, and hopefully they're not going to do the things he did, please. But... it's like what you said, we should never make statues of anyone.
Even, I mean, this is not the same, of course, but of course I was sad as everyone was that we lost Pee-wee Herman, Paul Reubens.
I cried.
Oh, I knew it. I knew you were going to be so sad.
Oh, I'm going to cry right now.
Okay, this is a double cry episode so far. We'll see if we can get a triple.
Woo.
Sarah,
and
I
if you
knew
were to
it.
say, what things is Sarah going to cry about? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Pee-wee Herman probably wouldn't have been on your bingo card.
Well, I knew it, though, because you've always had an affinity for him. And
I have his box set. That's what I grew up watching.
His box set?
Yeah. Pee-wee Herman's Playhouse. All seasons. Got it.
I can tell why, though.
And I have the Pee-wee Herman doll, like the little pull string doll.
Do you still have that?
No.
Oh,
I really wish I
cool.
did. I should.
Because he's like subversive and weird and like queer, like that has that like vibe of the other.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I mean, everything makes sense. If you're like, what show did Sarah grow up watching? Wasn't Sesame Street. It was Pee-wee Herman's Playhouse. Oh, I wonder why she ended up on reality television and like cosplaying or whatever.
He was a real character and just he was unique. He was a unique individual. And I just bring him up because he too is a complex dude. Yeah. He wasn't one thing.
Yeah, and I don't even care. Go ahead, jerk off in a adult theater.
I don't even think I realized until that happened that you weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's
what is the point?
What are you watching it for the dialogue?
Yeah.
Get out. The good acting and the plot line.
Yeah. I don't get that. What is the point of the communal viewing?
Suze, I don't know.
Okay. I don't either.
It's
I guess it was before VCRs or whatever.
Do you... yeah, and maybe it was that he had it out. Like, what are you allowed to do it if it's like through a hole in the popcorn?
No, I don't think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't like. And what if somebody just came right there and couldn't even help themselves? Just rub their legs together. I
think it's the touching part.
It's the touching, right?
I don't know though because I'm not really well versed on the rules. And where do they put the rules? Are they like on the wall?
And like, are you allowed to touch somebody else?
Right.
Because like, who hasn't done that? I've definitely done that in a movie theater.
What, Sarah?
Oh, I've gotten a little handsy in a theater.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, over the pants, not under. But like, come on.
Wow, she's giving handies in the right. Like, what movie do you think?
Oh, that's a good question.
Probably Jurassic Park. Although you were too young.
Yeah, I wish.
I wish.
Like, not that young, but like, I wish that were in the theater so that I could to Jeff Goldblum at that age.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Whew. I love
All right, let me move on. I guess this will move into that. Like that guy was seen as like a hero, the psychology guy. But then we'll move into the alleged villains or accused or what do you call it? Convicted villains. Yeah. Charles Manson.
Okay.
I was thinking about him because, you know, they released one of the family members, the family, you know.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Leslie Von Houten. She is one of the ones who helped murder the LaBianca family. It was after Sharon Tate, but I've written to her many times. She has not written me back, but I did hear back from Tex Watson, who is the one. She held the person down and he stabbed her. Right. But okay. So Leslie was in jail for 50 years or so.
Oh my God. Wow. We are at the age where people involved in these crazy, like, wow. Okay.
Blowing your mind.
It really is.
Does it blow your mind that she got out, you mean?
Just like the Manson murders sound almost like a part of weird history, pop culture history.
Mm-hmm. And like the Vietnam War or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just
something
sort of this
that
thing.
this thing that happened. And then you think when they're like, oh, they're like 50 years in jail, like that seems like, oh, so long. And now we're at that time when those people are, I don't know. It just feels surreal.
I felt that way.
It's very strange.
When they released the file on JFK's murder, because it was a long enough time that they set the date so that everyone would be dead that was like involved.
So crazy.
Yeah. And then they released it and I'm like, this is weird. I thought it would never come.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like, what, in our lifetime? Really? I don't know. It's just...
So they released Leslie. Boy, I think part of the reason why it is in that zeitgeist category of like, what is because they were so-called normal people who did these heinous things at the direction of Charles, who didn't do any of them.
Oh,
he murdered no one. And of course, there's so many variables that can make this happen, but like, how does somebody go from pretty normal functional person to a completely
murderer.
Callous? They were not sorry. So do you feel like that's what makes it so intriguing, is that they went from one to the other?
And yes, that's what makes it intriguing, like the murder and the story in and of itself. But what makes it feel kind of surreal is how many stories and movies and television shows and songs,
the footage
and everything. It was like based on like everything that came from this. That this was provided some dark inspiration for a lot of like art in a way. Yeah. Right?
I do think that that's why, though. It maybe because it was also like symbolic, like it was seen as this hippie group gone insane.
Yeah. And when your parents are hippies that grew up, it lived in that area, it feels like
a little too close.
But way too close to home, literally.
Yes.
Like, oh, I was 2 blocks down from that.
Yeah. Right. You really
Canyon.
were.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I really mean literally.
Right. Okay. I get that. I get, because it's kind of like we were talking
still
about
lives there
with the Long Island serial killer, where it's like right there in your neighborhood and it's whatever. Okay.
And it feels more like an American Horror Story plot than it does actual thing that could happen. Like,
Yeah. And you know how I was saying about when we were talking about the viral dress, and I said how all these experts like piped up and were like, let me explain why that happened. And that happened. This is what happens with the Manson murders too.
Yeah.
They're like, here's what happens. People get persuaded by charisma and mind control and blah, blah, blah. If it's so explainable and like obvious, how come this is 50 years ago? We're still talking about it and nothing like it has ever happened again. What happened to those people?
You're freaking me out, Suze.
It freaks
You're
me
supposed
out.
to be the expert. You're the doctor.
Well, when I talked to Charles Tex Watson, he does not like the name Tex. So Charles Watson, when we write letters, he is a born-again Christian now, and which does not surprise me at all. Because if you were sort of almost like in this addicted, compulsive state, you can transfer that to something else.
Yeah.
And so it feels like that's what he did. Now he's obsessed with Christianity and Jesus and like sends me all these like religious things. He wants me to become a Christian or whatever. And so he doesn't try to explain it. He says it was drugs and these kind of like these things happen. But I'm just like, they don't.
They don't.
So I get confused, and you're the psychology person. I just know about religion.
No, I'm like anxiety, depression, not mass murder.
Well, I'll tell you.
I don't know, not qualified.
I'll tell you what doesn't make me depressed, and that's how great Liquid IV is.
Absolutely. I'll do the opposite. In fact, I'm pretty sure that like dehydration probably does affect mood.
That is true.
Yeah.
You know how whenever you're like feeling sad or lonely or whatever, you'll be like, am I thirsty? Am I hungry?
Yes.
You'll do the checklist.
Yep. Got to go on the list. A lot of times
you're just thirsty. Stay hydrated. Because, and it is hard. Like sometimes you've ever seen those gigantic water bottles where people try to drink it in like a day or something?
Yeah.
This will make it so much easier. This is like the shortcut version. You pour the Liquid IV powder into your drink. You'll get hydrated 2 to 3 times faster, and it'll taste way better.
Yes. I just went up to we're up at like 9,000 elevation in Breckenridge for the weekend. And man, do you feel it. And so these hydration packets were my best friend because I really felt like the end of it, my lips are so dry. And I just was drinking the same amount of water. No, you definitely got to up it anytime.
That's
go to
right.
elevation, anything like that. Mm-hmm.
Well, these are handy. You can travel with them or keep them in your car, give them to your kids after their weird soccer games and all that crappy people do. And the flavors, they have a million and they're delish. Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Now they have sugar-free.
Yes.
Grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier sugar-free in bulk at Costco to get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use CANDY at checkout. That's the code CANDY. That's 20% off anything you order when you use promo code CANDY at liquidiv.com. We love it over here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, and speaking of Chuck Manson, there is this Netflix series that people have been asking me about called How to Be a Cult Leader.
Yeah. I saw that.
Well, I don't like it. It doesn't appeal to me. They're very like, it's, I don't know, like sardonic and glib. And it's like, kind of like wink, wink, like as if it's a handbook on how to be a cult leader.
Right.
Okay, fine. But then all of it is just all this old footage you've already seen of Charles Manson or like Jim Jones at Jonestown you know.
Warren Jeffs.
I didn't see Warren. They did do what's that one in like Oregon where that lady, Tough Titties.
Oh, yes.
I forget that guy's name.
It's... I can't
remember. And then they did a little bit of Heaven's Gates. But, okay, fine. It's all that. But for me, it does a disservice to the problem because this looks in that sort of 70s footage kind of way, like all those earth tony vibes,
right.
sepia or whatever it is.
Yes.
And it makes it feel like this can't happen now. And maybe some of our listeners have, people have said that like Trump is... kind of similar, has similar cult leader charisma and very persuasive and whatever. Okay. I'm not saying that's necessarily true, but
I am. Go ahead and look at the list. I'll say that.
Okay, but
I'm not a PhD in religion, so I can shoot off the...
shoot from the hip?
Shoot from the hip like that.
Well, they didn't include anything like today that could be... I mean, they did a little bit about NXIVM, but for the most part, it was all that old stuff.
Yeah.
And I see it now with YouTubers, TikTok, politicians, even celebrities, how people get into these like obsessed.
Yes. Like your Taylor Swift,
Exactly. Yeah. Great example. It just looks different. So then people aren't thinking about those things. And I wish they would, because we can very easily be manipulated still by people with great charm and just certain personality, magnetism. Mm-hmm. And we won't recognize it because we're busy thinking about Jim Jones and his weird glasses and stuff.
Right. That a cult leader should look like this and be like this. And
the boogeyman.
Right. And people may be falling victim to cult-like leaders. Yeah,
it just is different now in the digital age.
Yeah.
And they're finding...
there's like a checklist for what is a cult, right?
Yeah. There
it's
is.
Like you're either financially or sexually taken advantage of, or
they tend to want to isolate you from your loved ones in certain ways.
There's a charismatic leader.
He would say, well, Trump's not doing that. Taylor Swift's not doing that. Well, why don't we have a look at and think these things evolve. Yeah. So maybe we could have a look as scholars and as a society and think, who is manipulating me? People that want my money, and those are always going to exist. Mm-hmm. People that want my attention, people that want my, that will give me power. So I felt like, okay, it's entertaining for people, but you could actually be helpful and be useful as a producer if you really show people how it exists now.
Yes.
And it looks different.
Yeah.
They've found that digitally, that everything's changed. That cults used to be like in person.
Right. Now you can have
online.
Absolutely. And you can have no central headquarters. Mm-hmm. But
what the heck was it? It was on Hulu. It was like, oh man, I'm forgetting what it's called, but it was about this woman who had like an online following, and she was convincing people that like celebrities were lizard people. Oh, and you think, well, who believes that? But like a lot of people.
I know. That's so crazy.
And it was catching on, and she's like, there was like deaths that resulted from it and murders and stuff. It was wild. I got to figure out what the heck the name of that was. What good am I?
Yeah, I want to see that.
Anyway, moving on.
It scares. I'm telling you, if it weren't the only thing that's keeping me away from a cult is the charismatic leader, because I'm like, I don't try, but everything else, just like the group togetherness, all that, like we always joke that the camp I went to was basically a cult. Like,
yeah, you want like a decentralized thing where
I want a decentralized
everybody has the same amount of power. You want equality in your cult.
Is that really so much to ask?
I mean, we realized earlier you're in like a plant gang. It's only a hop, skip, and a jump from a plant cult.
Right.
And that would be nice. You'd probably like environmentalist stuff.
Definitely. I'm fine with that.
Hey, should we talk about that guy that turned himself into a collie?
Oh, I was hoping that you've seen this video. Susie, I can't.
Tell me your thoughts. Okay, let me give... I'm sure you've all seen it.
With this.
But if you haven't, this doofus paid $14,000 to turn himself into...
I don't know. The sex doll people would say he didn't spend enough.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
Right. Okay, continue.
It's like this elaborate collie costume, like a dog.
Yeah, like Lassie.
Like a Lassie. And he is basically taking on this persona as a dog. And it really does look like a dog. It doesn't look like a costume.
It does look like a dog in the way that a taxidermy dog looks like a dog.
Yeah.
Like
it looks like it's sick, maybe.
Yeah, there's no life behind those eyes. The thing, it also, you'd think for somebody who was so dedicated and said his life dream and goal
dream. He did.
Is to be a collie.
Right.
Would be a little more practiced in walking like a dog.
I have not seen a video.
Oh, Suze.
Tell me how bad it is.
It's bad because like it looks like he's learning how to move his legs and arms at the same time that, like, you know how a dog would, because it's like instinctively different than how we crawl. Like,
oh my God.
Because we're not dogs and we're bipedal and you weren't built to do that. But the part that really gets me is he sees somebody, like somebody's interested. He's being interviewed in this video by a German news. He
was in the costume.
Yes.
Being interviewed.
I mean, I am using the term interviewed so loosely. He's more being petted. Pet? Yes. And he has like a handler. He comes out on what essentially looks like a hotel lobby cart.
Oh no.
Because he can't, like, he's like walking like normal.
Oh no.
And then, like, I guess he gets down off the cart. And there's another dog that comes up to him and is like clearly freaked out and doesn't even come near and is like, no, hell no, and goes away.
This is terrible.
So then the collie sees another, I don't know, a person or a kid or something who's interested. And so he goes to wave, but he lifts up his hand like a hand.
A person?
A person.
Like not a paw.
And I was just like, oh God, this is...
He's not a method actor.
I bet no. And if he were to watch that, is it silly to think that I'm feeling embarrassment for him for the moment that he watches the video and goes, "Oh, why'd you lift your hand up like that?" Like, if you're gonna do it right. And like,
well, that's the
practice.
Thing. Exactly. It seems like all that time that it took to make the costume, he could have been working on his moves.
Right.
The choreography of a dog.
I mean...
So how committed are you? You're just throwing money at the problem. Taco, that's his name, Taco.
I feel like when... that's his name, Taco? Wait, what?
Yes,
For real?
Right. The man's name is Taco. T-O-C-O.
Oh, okay. Right.
Tuco?
That, I thought you were saying that that's what he named himself as a dog. And I'm just like...
I would support that, to be honest.
It feels like...
You know how I feel about food names.
Yeah, you do like that. I just can't with this.
Okay, but I'm going to need you to like diagnose him. But if you are a person that I would diagnose as being like financially troubled, maybe Chime is for you, because Chime Bank is like working out all the issues with all the classic banks, right? So it's like they've come into, as I said, the digital age.
Yeah, and the other banks, they have not the best background. Kind of some shady.
I think we know their history.
Yeah, we know about them.
Like, don't you want fee-free overdraft up to $200? I know I do. You can get paid 2 days early with direct deposit while managing your money on the go. You could like go on a beach trip because you won't even be worried about your money. You're like, you know what?
It probably alerts you of big purchases like, Collie costumes that cost $14,000.
Yes. And all of this is with the goal of getting you better credit, making you more financially literate and independent. And those are all wonderful things. Sign up for Chime today and make this summer the best one yet for yourself and your wallet. Get started at chime.com/braincandy. That's chime.com/braincandy. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Access to direct deposits up to 2 days early. Depends on the timing of the submission of the payments file from the payer. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Okay, so do you think it's the classic, like this guy spends $14,000 on a costume instead of going to therapy? Is it that old joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some
and
avoidance.
It is like the
there's some, there's a safety that he feels in being this dog rather than being Toko.
A man.
Toko. Yeah.
Well, I don't like it one bit. I know because whenever
there's got to be a layer of animals aren't judgmental and animals accept you unconditional. There's something about that too that's got to be.
Yeah, but
and the love
people.
like that they are taken care of. Maybe he I would say that there's probably some like attachment issue where he was either like not nurtured or not loved in those first 3 to 6 months in a way that made him feel accepted. And I would imagine that in his family there was a dog. I'm going to go out on a limb and say a collie that got more attention than he did in the family. So I bet if we did a little digging into his old family
I think you're onto something.
There might be some collies who have taken a pee on it.
Oh my God. That is good, Sarah.
That would be my...
That's fan nonfiction, if you ask me.
Right. I think that's pretty
well,
good.
It was funny because at the same time I was reading about that guy, on CNN, it had this story about how this Chinese zoo is like pissed that people keep accusing them of having human beings in bear costumes.
Because they are. They're definitely doing that.
You have to Google it because
they're 100% doing that.
It looks truly like a person in a bear costume, and they keep going, like, they're so mad about it. They're like, they're called sun bears. They're not brown bears, and that's how they look, and they stand upright like that, and they have flappy butt skin.
I have to see this. Where is this? This.
Okay, CNN Today. It's Chinese zoo denies its sun bears are people in costume. That is the headline, and it is great. Look at this quote-unquote bear. Do you see it?
No, not yet.
Okay, so just if you didn't see it, it's really...
That's a bear.
Wait a minute.
But
do you see what they're saying?
I have to watch this now.
Like the bear is standing so tall, and it looks like
no, that's a person. That he's waving very similar to our good friend Toko.
It's Toko, I think.
Stop it.
And you might be thinking, hey, we're being unfair because what do we know? There are sun bears and they do kind of look like this, but this Chinese zoo has gotten in trouble before for putting like dogs in there and then pretending like they're wolves and stuff. Okay, so they have a history of deception, animal deception.
This is so funny to me. Because they're like, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. And that to me is like...
That is exactly the tone.
Deny. Susie's like, maybe I do break out that mascot costume.
Right? Like, because their press release was like, almost like... I don't know why you guys keep saying this. And I think they wrote it in like the acting like the bear wrote it. I am a sun bear.
Basically a bear version of like, I feel like it's like, it could also be like 3 kids on each other's shoulders in a trench coat. Like that's the vibe this bear is putting out.
Now, what?
This makes me laugh.
If it is a bear... I apologize.
We're done.
You don't look like a bear.
You don't look like a bear. I mean, there are weird animals out there, but...
You look like a guy...
You are a dude.
Who any minute will take his head part off and, like, break for a smoke. Like, outside of the enclosure.
Yes. And he definitely rides his, like, moped home still wearing the bottom half and the head... The head is like... Yeah, but no helmet. Right.
So, I don't know. The CNN article was acting like it really is a bear, so I don't know.
I mean, that's very...
It could go either way.
I believed it, but until I saw him wave. I was like, CNN! What you smoking? I want some of that.
I'm going to put a poll up on our Instagram, and I'll put the footage and everything, and you be the judge. Did you say the thing that reminded you of this is the blue dress
Black
No, the Collie. Oh. The guy in the Collie costume, which is very real. That Collie looks more like a collie than that. Maybe a bear looks like a bear.
This is true. But they both move the same. I'm telling you, that clip of him waving, it's
your
about
vote
1
is
minute
that is
in.
a guy.
My vote's guy for both.
For both. I actually started to think it was a real bear.
Well, I didn't watch the rest of the video. Now I have to
CNN
do
might
research
be
on sun bears. Now it's a whole thing. Sun bears.
Like, why are there no other sun bears in zoos? I've never seen a sun bear.
Yeah. And come on.
Hey, what are we supposed to do if we see a bear? There's like a thing. Do you run or stay still? What is it?
They really do look weird. I don't like this bear.
That's what I mean.
No.
Oh my God.
No.
It's like a platypus and a bear combined.
It's not cool.
It's not cool.
Wow. I don't know now.
See?
Look at that one.
That looks like a guy too. See, in the saggy butt.
Look at the wrinkly butt.
It just looks like a costume, like Yogi Bear at King's Dominion amusement park.
I'm going to need to see the inside of their mouths. Or I'm going to need to see them eat raw meat or something.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, prove yourself, China.
Oh, you're a bear?
Listen, maybe if you hadn't cried bear before, when it was really a dog.
Right.
It was like a
feel
collie
like there
named
is
Toko.
Another zoo that we've talked about on here where people dress as the animals.
This is, if it doesn't exist, it should.
I
right,
know,
because they think zoos are inhumane or something.
Yeah, I know we've talked about this.
All right.
Things to Google after this episode.
Yeah, we have work to do. Okay, that settles that. I think we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we sure did.
Sarah's in a plant gang.
Yeah.
And the pump club. 2 cults at once. This is great for me.
I know. Luckily, they're not rivals. They can live.
Like the Bloods and the Crips. Yeah. Right. They can coexist. And then the guy that wrote The Body Keeps the Score, that Bessel guy, I mean, I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if someday, like, we find out he was, like, in the Manson family. You know? Like, he has some demons. Don't we all? Why else would he be studying?
Some trauma? Exactly. I mean, that's like, don't expect... people studying the mind, doing this kind of work, we didn't just go into it because, like, we had a lovely upbringing and it was so fantastic and we'd like to share it with you all.
Right. They're not trying to help.
No. It's fix me and then maybe fix you guys.
Why does a chef become a chef? They like food.
Right. Yeah.
They like eating.
There you go.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you, you know, since Charles Manson didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like he got, like, too much of a punishment?
No. Because that one woman who convinced her boyfriend to kill himself, she's guilty too.
Okay.
You're manipulating. Yeah, you can't do that.
Okay.
People are too
just
fragile.
Checking.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I wanted to say it like I said
up.
it because it's funnier.
Yeah.
And anyway, the guy that turned himself into a collie shouldn't have, and he should stop it.
What?
He's a YouTuber.
How much time did Manson get?
Life.
Okay.
Yeah, he died in jail. He was never getting out. I also feel like it's not fair that, like, they don't let famous people out on parole because they're famous. Like, if you're not letting them out because they're a risk to society, that's fine. But, like, you know, the guy that shot Reagan, who's Hinckley, he everyone knew he wasn't a threat for decades, and they wouldn't let him out because he tried to kill a president. And I just think that's stupid. He's out now, though.
They didn't put him into like protective custody, like a witness.
He spent time in like a mental. Yeah. I think it was always in a mental institution because he was mentally ill. Okay. But then they did let him out like on house arrest, and he's making music. It's on YouTube. It's not good.
Oh God. Okay.
But he's, doing right thing. And he says like, I am mentally ill and I have to keep taking medicine forever.
Yeah. Oh, that's sad. Well,
anyway, I'm just saying it shouldn't be determined by your fame or notoriety whether you get out. That's stupid. All right, we got to go. Bye everyone.
See ya.